Growing up, I didn't really quite fit in. I was very odd one out, constantly. I always knew that I was not a girl. I felt like it was such a performance to convince others that I was when I knew that I was not at all. And I feel very much more masculine, but I don't feel like I'm a boy either. It'd be nice to have some direction for once. And it'd be nice to like also feel like maybe I'm not quite as alone as I think I am.
I'm Richie Shazam, artist, model, and fashion photographer.
And I'm Lucas Silvera. I'm a musician and life and relationship coach.
Growing up gender nonconforming doesn't come without confusion, especially when it comes to your external presentation.
For many queers, fashion is used as a tool to access their inner strength. So we want to help other folks discover where their true expression lies.
Not only on the gender spectrum, but on the style spectrum as well.
My name is Asul. I'm 25 and I'm from Chicago. Pronouns are they, them.
Azul is a non-binary, Chicago-based artist who uses visual mediums to explore their gender as well as their Mexican heritage.
Hello. We want to help Asul to reach a place of feeling safer and better understood within their community and find their swagger in time for their upcoming art show.
Welcome to the bleachers. I'm like already tormented by seeing all of this. I'm like back to like middle school.
I never like engaged in any like sort of ballpark sports. I was just like, can't run, so I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. We're gonna have so much fun. Can you just like walk me through, like what about your external presentation would you need some help with?
My safety zone is very comfortable.
Okay.
Growing up, I had baggy clothing, like didn't want to be associated with the girly stuff, but didn't want to be seen as aggressive with the boys. So I was very much like in between and not really like looked at too much. But I think I got too comfortable. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes I like attention. Yes. Sometimes I want to feel like much better about myself.
For me, and I think for a lot of queer people, fashion is a way to express our inner strength. As a trans man who was not on testosterone for years, it was my only form of expression and my own ideas of masculinity.
I'd love to know sort of in what direction should we go in?
I come from a Mexican background, so I like being very connected to my culture, but I also appreciate the aesthetic of goth. So if we think of like goth mariachi, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
That is a good example of what I am feeling.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because like, I like the sleekness of it. That reminds me of my dad. He's just so cool.
What's his name?
His name was Alberto. He would dress up really Rico Suave. And like had the silk shirts, pressed pants, plain shoes, gold chain, like smoking a cigarette. I chose the name Alberto as my middle name to honor my dad, because he's the person I mask my like masculinity with. So he like was a very strong force in my life. Because even when I was young, like me and my mom were kind of like butting heads. But like he was always like my #1 advocate. I just felt very safe around him. And then he just passed. I feel like I lost any sort of sense of wanting to be safe with others because I'm just afraid of them dying. And I feel like I almost curse in a way that like the people that I feel like really connect to, especially like masculine figures, they just go.
Yeah.
I have all these amazing things going on in my life, and like finally I'm happy, and they don't get to be here to experience it. They only saw me as this like sad kid, and now like I'm less sad, but but they're not here. It wasn't really until like experiencing like a large grief that like I was able to be a lot more truthful with like my like artwork and such. So like a lot of emotion went into my painting work, and it just really helped me propel into like being more serious about like art making. But like the new work that I'm doing is now like trying to explore more of a non-binary like way of existing. It feels like I'm like people are trying to bound me when I'm not trying to be.
Yeah.
But living in a place that like has no sort of like boundaries at all is very like, it's very scary. I'm really looking forward to making my art and like for the show. What I hope to happen is to like feel comfortable having people stare at me. I don't want to care about what other people say about me or how they look at me, but you know, obviously I'm, you know, human. Finally allowing myself to feel like pretty good about myself would be nice.
Asul feels deeply connected to their familial and cultural heritage, but they struggle to find a way to work these inspirations into their daily presentation. To help them narrow down the type of look they'll want to serve at their upcoming art show, I'm bringing Asul to Richard's Fabulous Finds, a vintage haberdashery, for some style exploration.
It's so easy for me to just put on something comfortable and like call it a day without thinking too much. But I have a deep respect for like fashion because it's like a different form of art.
Let's go and take a look.
Oh yeah.
So anything that you see that you like, just kind of like tell me what you're feeling. We want to make sure that you represent yourself in your own, you know, flavor and your own taste. I just want you to be a little bit adventurous.
That's cool.
That is actually quite sweet. Yeah, I'd wear that, and I'd wear this too. That actually looks really cute. What do you think? I look like a puppy. Which of these sort of like speak loudly to you?
These actually remind me of chanclas from Mexico.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, just like the pattern work.
Beautiful.
But I like these shoes. I just like how pointed they are.
Okay, so let's try these ones on then. Oh, these are so fancy.
Tight.
Will you look at that?
I feel like this is probably what my dad felt like. Every time he came out with like his nice clothing, to feel a little bit more spiritually connected to my roots.
I am a true believer of clothes being a part of your expression. Just the way that you sort of want to feel in yourself.
Oh, my shoulders look great. I'm
Right? That's what I'm talking about. You're like feeling yourself, right? The fact that they love their silhouette and kind of just were like thrusting it around, you can see the empowerment that they felt over that. That's what clothing can do, can give you that confidence. Do you know how to tie a tie?
No.
Okay. You always want to have one of the sides a little bit longer than the other, okay? You flip this side over.
It's always complicated to have someone who's very masculine and fatherly teach me these like things because I kind of felt like I lost a lot of that growing up. It was kind of nice to have someone else who like knew what they were talking about and like maybe like if my dad was still alive, I would have this experience with him.
And there you go. Whoop. Might take a couple of tries. Sometimes this is what happens. I never had, you know, a masculine, older, like father figure do that for me either. So to be able to do that for somebody else and sort of like take on that daddy role for me is really important.
Well, this one has a secret.
Oh man, look at that. Hello. That is some tie. I love it. Richard's Fabulous Finds is actually fabulous.
When it comes to their gender and pronouns, Asul hasn't always felt seen by their mother.
My relationship with my mom is very complicated. Growing up, the thing that I really enjoyed was actually cooking because I felt like it was the only time when we weren't like at each other's throats. I think in the beginning when we were trying to get to know each other, it was really, really hard.
Hola, señora.
I'm hoping to facilitate a conversation between them and help them to open the door to a future dialogue.
Mi español es un poquito... No es muy bueno.
Okay.
So, what are we doing here?
Quiso que hiciera flautas de papa.
So this is your
Y
favorite?
eso, entonces,
It's a favorito?
I think they're superior to the chicken ones. My mom knows that I'm queer and she's aware of my name, but she doesn't use it.
Yo soy artista. Azul es un artista también. ¿Cómo te sientes de la vida de artista como trabajo? Y también como trabajo emocional.
Y pues estoy contenta de que ella esté logrando lo que a ella le ha gustado, siempre.
Pues tú me firmaste para clases de arte.
Y yo la firmé. La primera vez la llevé a un lugar donde pintaban y le gustó.
Does your mom understand the sort of some of the topics that you deal with in your work?
She thinks my work is depressing.
Depressing?
Pero siempre estamos peleando por eso, porque le digo, ponle más luz, le falta luz, que refleje más luz.
Sabes que Azul es una persona especial y es diferente que muchas personas. Tal vez un poco más como una persona como yo soy.
Yo sentí un poco triste porque pues cómo va a ser posible que tú hayas salido así, ¿verdad? Pero después me puse a pensar y dije, bueno, pues si Dios me la mandó así, pues te tengo que apoyar, ayudarte a que tú seas lo que tú quieres ser.
No quiero ser hombre, me gusta ser no mujer, no hombre, me gusta ser nomás una persona, eso es como yo siento, no como hombre, no como mujer. Non-binary to me is like being all of the elements and not like having to separate them, which is a really hard thing to come to terms with.
Estás en dos mundos.
Ya,
en dos mundos.
Yeah.
Pues diga, pues yo lo único que te puedo hacer, pues como te digo, apoyarte y eso, pues sí.
No me gusta que me dice que soy mujer, porque no siento como mujer. That's why I changed my name. My dead name is associated with a lot of trauma. Don't ever want to hear it.
Cuando ella me dijo que se había puesto azul, le digo, ¿y azul por qué? No dice, yo soy azul. Y ella me dijo que porque le gustaba ese color y eso, y pues sí, tengo que tener mucha paciencia con ella para tener mejor relación y todo.
No quiero usar ella, quiero usar ellos.
Pero
si tú
tiene
quieres
que
usar
aceptar.
azul y ellos, te puedo dar más tiempo. A mí también necesito tiempo a oírlo de ti.
Pues sí, y azul. Ok, muy bien.
If you would have asked her this 5 years ago, it would have not been good. It would have been like, yeah, sure, whatever. But now it seems like she's like actually trying to understand. So I do have a lot of hope.
Cada vez es difícil. Tienes permiso de tiempo, patience, paciencia.
Mucha paciencia.
Yeah. Con los dos. That's beautiful.
Yeah, nada más sin flautas.
Azul's art show is tomorrow, and I want them to feel fierce and confident when they walk in that door.
Welcome to my studio.
After trying some new looks yesterday with Lucas, they've asked for a punk mariachi fantasy, and we're about to deliver.
You know, I've always been very, very like attracted to masculine wear, but mostly I love a good like structured version of myself, aka I love shoulder pads.
You do love getting dressed for big events, and you have a big one tomorrow. I have a super big surprise for you right now. Are you ready?
Yes.
Come on out. Sal is an incredible stylist based in Chicago. And based on our direction, Sal created an incredible look.
Richie let me know that you really wanted to express your Mexican heritage and add a little bit of a punk goth feel to it. And so we created this suit for you, hand designed and custom.
This is really nice.
We know you like gold, those yellow tones that remind you of your family.
Oh,
and so you have a coordinated bottom and it's cropped with a more wide leg.
Azul has a difficult time getting dressed up for events, but I wanted to walk them through how we can confidently go into any situation without feeling that stress and anxiety. Oh my God!
You look amazing.
Oh my.
Oh my God.
Give us a
Oh
twirl,
my.
give us a twirl.
Okay. Having a little bit of extra finesse and a little bit of people like hyping you up is just such a new experience.
Suits are so powerful as well because they're quite genderless. You know, they're the mixing of both masculine and feminine energies.
Yeah, eat your heart out, Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. And there's one more thing. To make sure that your dad is with us tomorrow, we got something really special for you. These were hand painted by a friend of Sal's. And if you look closely in the inscription, we have your dad's name.
These are cute. Thank you.
Azul's pain about not having dad around, especially tomorrow for this big moment, is just so real and so profound. So I really wanted to give them the tools necessary to walk in tomorrow feeling vibrant and free and just feeling protected. You look fabulous. You look
amazing.
so dapper and sophisticated.
Thank you. I feel like this is what like art people wear when they're like big and famous.
You are a star. You are literally gonna shine so bright tomorrow.
If you look good, you present good. So I feel like with the fit, I'll probably be at the top of my game if I don't get nervous. The first time I'm looking forward to something in a really long time. You look so beautiful. Thank you.
Seeing yourself represented in your community can be a very important step towards finding your authenticity. While Azul sets up for their art show tonight,
Look at all this.
I brought in Mexican-American trans artist Vicente Ugartechea in hopes that Azul can bond with them over their shared experience.
A lot of my work deals with the Mexican diaspora, but in that line, it also deals with the potentialities of sex, gender, and sexuality. I would really like to know more what's in your mind, because I'm so fascinated.
I'm right now in the middle of installation, so we're trying to form a body in space.
Okay.
I did some fabric pieces with like relics of old ideas of me and sewed them into the body, but now forming into this new space, this new body, this new like way of like I see myself. A lot of artists in my life had commented on my work but didn't look like me, so I really gravitate towards mentors that like understand the same perspective of growing up in a very cultured household. I feel like sometimes my like experiences almost feel like a lie because I feel very like outside looking in when it comes to like being Mexicano. So like
the diaspora, you're not enough for them in Mexico, and you're not from here, so you're just kind of in this middle ground.
yeah, it's like really hard to maneuver that spot.
But that's why art is important. That's why you as a person existing, even breathing, and people can see you, that is so powerful.
You are creating a space of your own where you're just like, you know what? I refuse to stand back and I'm just gonna move forward.
There is no written template of what we should look like or expression.
Yeah.
You're creating your own iconography.
It's just nice to have another person to like kind of validate what I'm feeling, but also can give me like the right pointers that I need.
It's the morning of Azul's art show, and what better way to prepare for a grand entrance than with a fierce new hair look that completely embodies their gender and artistic expression. So we're here at Barbara and Barbara with my dear friend Walter. Let's talk about some fantasies. What are we trying to get into today?
Yeah, what are you thinking of doing?
Like, I kind of like something that I can just like wake up and do and not spend too much time with. But, you know, I think today's a good day to do some experimenting.
How do you want to feel when you walk into your art show tonight?
Edgy and Mexican.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's me. Right
Basically
here.
this vibe right here.
Latinx goddess. Let's do this.
I'm so excited.
I just missed having a haircut so bad.
Like a good haircut.
Yeah. I feel better when I have a haircut. I feel like I can actually like want to talk to people.
You're feeling your oats.
So let's talk about color.
My love, what colors are we gravitating towards?
I like to say blue. It's my name. I'm for sure feeling that color. I love that like deep hue of blue, but I also like that there's not like too much green in it. In college, I was able to finally experiment with my hair because I was away from my mom, and I experimented with different colors, and I felt I was at my happiest when I was blue. So when I was able to finally change my name, I thought of the happiest time of my life. So I changed my name to Asul.
All right, so we're going blue. I love a color story.
Most of my really, really close friends who was like helpful with like gender identity aren't like actually in the state anymore.
Yeah.
They end up like moving away, so it's nice to finally like feel welcomed again.
When I was in high school and my mom was really sick, I remember these really intense emotional feelings that I really wanted to run away from, and I really started to engulf myself in sort of the punk scene, because being a brown kid growing up in like New York City and trying to find your space when you don't feel like you fit in, I really identified with just feuding with oneself in the mosh, and I was like in heels.
That's like amazing. I would like to see again you like moshing with the crowd.
It was just like one of those few moments of actually like letting go, you know? And I think that being free and not having to think about the policing of other people, it's just very rewarding.
Yeah. I feel like, everyone's depression manifests very differently, but mine is very critical. And it's really hard to enter a space where everyone's just like, you look great. And I'm like, I don't believe you.
Right.
I feel like there's so much inner critique going on of how to present.
It's okay to have those thoughts, but it's even better to tell yourself no. Who's the most beautiful person in the room? Me. And I don't care what anybody tells me. And at a certain point, you start to believe yourself, and then no one can tell you otherwise,
Oh my God, this color. So cute. How do you feel, my love?
I feel great. I love the haircut so much.
It's like the perfect pop of color for the amazing suit. It's just gonna bring it all together,
It's so blue.
It's so blue.
It's me. The things that make me happy is talking about my art. It's really important to me that people get it
I think that one's my favorite.
and that they like it.
Hello, come join us.
Hi everyone. Welcome to the art show. The last few days have been very overwhelming, but for good reasons. Finally, just feel more confident about my work, more confident about myself, and just I start speaking about things that I've been kind of putting on the back burner for so long. These are old dresses I used to wear. So now I'm forming who I am, but also still honoring what I used to be.
We're so beyond proud. The look transformation was fully realized today.
Feeling a little bit deflated to all of a sudden feeling alive. It's part of the gift that comes with being yourself.
So this one's an homage to my dad. This is what it means to me to be masculine. And it's not quite cold where it's just I am dominant, I am assertive. It's just I'm, charismatic, I'm welcoming, I am happy to be with my family. I feel much more confident about pushing myself forward and grinding a little bit harder until someone finally sees that I am worth the effort. And the future looks like a full body in space. Resolved in some ways, but always an ongoing process.